afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for gathering here today. We're gathered here today to protest the unfair hiring plan that is being executed by the new Howard Johnson's Hotel around the corner from this location. And we're here to say that it's not fair, and we believe that people from this community deserve, qualified people deserve opportunities to interview for the jobs that will be available at the hotel.
That's right.
I regret the incident that happened the other day where I was portrayed and viewed in a very poor light. I apologize for that kind of aggression and incident, but I don't apologize for standing up for my community and standing up for those people, those qualified people that need jobs. I don't think that any negotiation should ever end with a violent nature or begin with a violent nature. I grew up in the civil rights era, and I believe in nonviolent activity to get things done and get things negotiated. As you saw in the video, it was a very intense situation. I tried to leave the hotel after negotiations broke down. I was already in the hotel. I was leaving the hotel. And as I was leaving the hotel, I was detained and I was grabbed and I thought I was going to be hit. And so in a moment of frustration and fear, matter of factly, I responded in kind. I think that all of us have been at a place where they were frustrated and aggravated and provoked, quite frankly. And, I'm not proud of that action. I'm not proud of that action at all. But if it took me being highlighted in order to bring the press and bring light to hiring practices that are not only happening here in this community, but happening all across the city of New York, where businesses come into urban neighborhoods like this, and they really never have an intention of hiring from the neighborhood. So again, I regret the incident that I was involved in. I regret that there was an altercation, and I apologize for it. But I do not apologize for standing up for workers and standing up for people in our community that are qualified to work in this hotel and, quite frankly, work anywhere where there's new businesses developed in our neighborhood. I'm gathered here today by a few pastors from our clergy coalition here in Long Island City, Pastor Bobby Moore from the Astoria Baptist Church, Pastor Crawford Hinson from the Friendship Baptist Church, Dr. Johnny Green, who's the president of Impact, mobilizing preachers and communities, and April Simpson, who is the president of the Queensbridge Tenant Association. And of course, as you can see, many concerned residents out here today that know that my only intention and my only objective is to fight for the rights of the people that live in our community to have jobs. As you know, the unemployment disparity in public housing neighborhoods is through the roof. And any opportunity to advocate on behalf of our community to get jobs is what I'm going to do. Again, I regret the incident that happened on the other day, and I'm sorry that it ended in that way, but I do not regret standing up and advocating on behalf of our community. Now I'd like to call to the podium Dr. Johnny Green, who is the president of Impact, which is mobilizing pastors and communities, made up of over 200 churches around New York State. Dr. Green.
Thank you, Bishop Taylor. I have come today to stand with Bishop Taylor in his fight for jobs. We do not want the incident that took place the other day at the Howard Johnson Hotel. We do not want that incident to cloud the reason why we're here. I know that the media would like for us to lose focus. I know that they would like us to get off message and to detour from our fight for jobs in our neighborhood, but we are all aware of how corporations and businesses come into our communities and set up, and how they engage in the practice of not hiring members of our community. And so let us not lose the message in the incident that took place the other day. The issue is we need jobs in this community. You would agree with me on that, wouldn't you? We are tired of false promises. We are tired of developers coming into our neighborhood making promises that they are going to display fairness when it comes to hiring members of our community, and then once they receive permission to build and move forward with their projects, they abandon their promises. We need jobs. I know that Bishop Taylor is a man of integrity. I know that he is a lover and a fighter for the community. And so we have come to stand with Bishop Taylor and to let him know that he is not in this fight alone. Unemployment is high in the black and minority community, and we need to take a stance. We need to fight, and we need to do whatever we need to do by any means necessary to make sure that we are treated fairly as it relates to hiring practices. Again, it's unfortunate, the incident that took place at the Howard Johnson Hotel, but all of us placed in that same predicament know that self-preservation is the first law of nature. And we do not apologize for the bishop feeling threatened and taking the measures, taking the actions that he took. We do not advocate violence. Bishop is a person who has advocated nonviolence all of his ministry, and you all very well know that. So let us not lose focus. Let us not forget why we are really here, and it is to highlight the fact that there is a need for jobs in this neighborhood. Thank you. Pastor Crawford Henson is going to come to the podium at this time.
Good morning to all of you here this morning. We're grateful to God for the opportunity to stand here, and it's good to see so many here for the reason and the call that we are here. I am the pastor of the Friendship Baptist Church, where we all have the same problem here in this community. We cannot stress too much or too strongly about what happened with Bishop. We do not condone, we do not propagate violence, but sometimes it just cannot be handled. It is what it is. Amen? Amen. So today we come, our main reason of being here is the job that was promised. We sit down at the table along with them. They promised us jobs. And all of a sudden we find that they are hiring somewhere else, as if we do not exist, as if it just doesn't matter to us. We have concerns also. We have families. I'm a pastor. I have members. My members need jobs. We all need jobs for our own self-preservation. And the only way we're going to get that is to stand together, not in violence, but in nonviolence. loving each other, but also speaking the truth. Folks come into our community and our neighborhoods with unjust practices, unjust deeds, and expect us to swallow and follow. But it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. We hurt just like everyone else. And we also have a responsibility to our people. It's very important. It's very important that we continue to keep this fight going. The day is not the end. If it does not change, it's not the end. We shall continue to follow this. It's so very important. Again, we're grateful for all of you being here, you showing the concern that you have for the community and for the people and for our situations and our circumstances. So let us continually bind together. Let us continue to do this thing together without violence, but standing together, believing that we are on the winning side. Thank you for allowing us to speak for just a moment, but there are many things that we have to learn to walk together with. It's not about me, it's not about you, but it's about the situation that we have. And when we all working together, we can, without a doubt, get the job done. Do you believe that? Yes. Do you believe that? Yes. No justice, no peace. God bless you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be none other than our Pastor Bobby Moore from the Astoria Baptist Church.
Good day to everyone. Good day to one another. We are here on today because a precedent is being set. A precedent not just being set here in Long Island City, but across every community, across this state, and across this country. And once again, we stand in solidarity with Bishop Mitchell Taylor, amen, that we have to bring a change to our communities. And that change begins with each and every one of us. And there's a precedent that's also being set, amen, by conglomerates and big business, that they can come into our communities, erect their business, and really give no considerations to the constituents or the people that live in these same communities. Well, the precedent that we want to set is, once you have sat down to the table with us, and it was echoed through someone on this panel today, you sat down to the table with us and made certain promises. And then, without even regards or respect for us as a community or leaders of this community, you just don't consider us at all. Well, we're here to set a precedent that we are here to build a community, and if these businesses are going to be a part of the community, then the people in our community deserve a fair shake. And that's what we want, is a fair shake. We want to be filled out an application and know that our applications do mean something. Our applications take merit and will be considered, so that this community can grow and people in this community can grow. So we're here today to set a precedent to all big business. Consider the little guy when you come into our community.
Everything that was said today pretty much echoes what occurred at that table when we sat down with members of the Mayflower Hotel. There was a disregard for any sort of promises that were made earlier on. We're not dishonest people. We're not a dishonest community. We're a hard-working, God-fearing, capable community. And all we're looking for is just the opportunity to present ourselves and give and work and do a job that we know we can do. Now, I've sat with a lot of people in a lot of different times in my life. As a business owner, as a member of the merchant board of Urban Upbound, and this was the first time that I've sat with someone who just did not care. People who had no integrity whatsoever, who sat there and thought it was a joke to sit there and smile in our face and make promises that they had no intention of keeping. And I felt disrespected. And they disrespected this community. And we refuse to allow that to happen. And we're not going to just sit here and talk. We're going to stand here and walk. We're going to protest. And we'll be out here every day until they decide that they want to do the right thing. Bishop Taylor has been in this community for a long time. He has done a lot of amazing things here. For them to even think about dishonoring his legacy in this community by attacking him, by attacking this community, by being dishonest to this community, that will not stand. So let us go around the corner. Let us show them that we are a community that means something. We're a community that will stand up and do what we have to do to bring justice into this community. Not with violence, but with nonviolence. Not with just talk, but with action. Next is April, our Tenant Association board member, the president of our tenant board member of the Queensborough Houses.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I'm a resident first. I was born and raised in Queensbridge. I'm homebred. And I'm sick and tired of people coming up to me telling me they need a job. You know why? Because they're qualified, but they can't get a job. I'm sick and tired of developers coming into our community, building up hotels, motels, holiday inns, and not hiring anybody from our community. We are qualified. We are qualified. We're educated. We're no dummies. I sat in that meeting. The first thing that I noticed about the gentleman that sat with us, that he was a fake and a phony, he smiled too much and he wanted to kiss and hug everybody. That threw me right off. But you know what's the shame? Our local politicians, they need to get on board. So I'm calling on Council Member, Majority Leader Jimmy Van Bramer, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, Senator Michael Generis. There needs to be a law that every time you develop here, you have to hire here. If we establish that Queensbridge is the largest housing development in the country, we need our numbers to stand strong. Because you know what? Maybe if these developers go in these communities and they develop and they hire, maybe the unemployment rate wouldn't be so high. Maybe our kids who are getting ready to go off to college can get a part-time job to pay for their books and everything, because you know they can't pay the tuition. The last thing I want to say about Bishop Taylor, that's my brother from another mother. And let me tell you, he's a bishop, but he's a human being. And we all sometimes can fall a little short. We don't condone violence, but when they surrounded him, he had to do what the best he could. So the media don't want to focus on that. But let's get back to the facts. We need jobs. We're qualified. We can work. We're reliable. We're honest. We're dependable. We're hardworking. And we are Queensbridge.
Thank you, April. We also have with us Joe McDermott, who is the president and CEO of the Consortium for Workers' Education, a strong advocate for urban communities, for jobs. Welcome, Mr. Joe McDermott.
I'm the bishop's partner. All throughout this city, he and I, for the last 7 years, have gone to neighborhood after neighborhood to push our community groups to get more involved, to make demands. to find jobs for neighbors. There's no doubt that Bishop Taylor is the leader of this effort. And so when I got a call this morning, I had to come here and I had to say to him on the phone when he felt bad about yesterday, don't feel bad about yesterday.
That's right.
I know your lawyer wants you to feel bad about yesterday. But I said, you're a hero. You called me a month ago and said you had 20 jobs at a new hotel. And I said, that's terrific. We got to follow that example. We got to push that a business is coming into a neighborhood and giving jobs. I said, when that first tenant, that first resident from Queensbridge walks into that hotel, I said, Bishop, we have to have a press conference and announce it and use it as an example throughout this city. We'll call it the victory of 40th Avenue. And we'll use it. But here I am with my friend, my partner, a man I admire, feeling bad about what happened. And I said, no, we have a press conference called The Betrayal of 40th Avenue. Because all the reverends said, you come into this neighborhood, you want to make money off us, then you have an obligation to your neighbors. And when you make a promise to hire your neighbors, and you betray that promise, it can't end there. Howard Johnson's a family hotel, but it's not a neighborhood hotel as of this minute. And that hotel has, instead of making money here, has to be viewed, that's the building of Athema. That's the building who turned on the neighbors. Don't go stay there, don't give them money, because look what they're doing, they're disrespecting Bishop Taylor. With disrespecting, well, you sure can't talk. I don't think they know what they started. So let's move on this, because I want to spotlight on what Bishop Taylor did. I want to spotlight on what Mayflower did. And I want everybody to know in this city, just as the pastor said, you move here, you're obligated. You make a promise, you're obligated. Let's have a press conference here soon and call the victory of 40th Avenue.
Now we have Assembly Member Catherine Nolan.
First thing I want to say to my friend Joe McDermott, thank you for coming to Long Island City as you always do, and all the work that you do. Teamster, know him for so many years. My face brightened as soon as I saw him, because that's when you know who your allies are when you have an issue, right? So I want to say, first of all, I have known Bishop Taylor since we were both much younger. And my father, many of you know, grew up here, and I knew his dad. And in that little video yesterday, I saw my father. I can't tell you how many times over the years my father got himself into something on behalf of justice, you know? So I want to say, first of all, they give bishops a staff for a reason, see? Bishops get a staff because they have to lead the flock, and sometimes they have to have strength. So I have no issues with what happened yesterday, though I just said to him, we're getting a little older, we have to take care of ourselves. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. You never want to have anything that resorts to violence. But you know what? I'm proud of Bishop Taylor for being a bishop, for taking, in a sense, a staff of God and saying, I am fighting for our community. My friend Joe McDermott, and we are getting a little older. I don't want to say him something, but I think back to when we were in our 20s and fired up about working in this community. So in that way, I feel like, you know, we went forward, and we are going to keep going forward, even when there are obstacles. I agree completely with Joe McDermott that we cannot patronize a business, we cannot support a business that takes from our community and does not try to give back. But I do want to stress, because sometimes people don't understand and they get excited, we are not about any kind of violence. We are about a peaceful protest. We are about assembling under our constitutional rights to say we want to be treated fairly as a community here in Long Island City. So I'm very happy to be here today. I texted Bishop last night, like I said take care of yourself, because like I said, we're getting a little older. But you know, I'm really happy to be here today, and happy to see some younger people too from the Queensbridge community who could take a minute out, because it isn't just about our leaders of the past, of which we've had so many here in Queensbridge. I think of Lillian Brown and other people, may they rest on, that were right. I swear I felt them yesterday. I did. I really did. So I want to say I think we're here today to make a very strong point. I know some of our other colleagues in government are on their way, but I want to say to Bishop Taylor, I'm going to get you another staff because you're going to need it, I think. But we love you, we honor you, we respect you, we support you, and I'm very happy to be here with everyone today.